It's a new season of Zenless Zone Zero's Deadly Assault, and we're here to find out if this season can be beaten with level 50 agents. Normally, agents can reach level 60, making rewards feel almost too easy to unlock. So instead, we're upping up the ante with this modified rule set. I'll only use agents capped at level 50, which includes their W engines and the team's Bangbu. That means their core skills are limited to rank D, and their active skills are stuck at a base level of 9. To keep things fair and accessible for everyone watching, I'll use no more than one limited W engine per team. Not only that, but I'll also restrict my limited agents Mindscape Cinema to 0.
You're broke!
I'll be going over my roster so I can show you how I build my teams as the fights progress, since agent allocation is an integral part of Deadly Assault. For this encounter, I've put together a team that's been working great for me, which involves Piper, Lucy, and Bernice. Let me walk you through why I chose this team and how I handled this fight to maximize performance and make it easier for you to follow along. With Overlord Pompey's inherent weakness to fire, Bernice is our star agent here. While she applies fire anomaly off-field, Piper will be the on-field DPS, dealing physical anomaly damage. But since Pompey is weak to fire, I'm focusing on triggering Burn Disorder by making sure to proc a Burn anomaly first before activating the Disorder with an Assault proc to capitalize on that weakness. Lucy rounds out the team, adding extra damage and support with her Cheer On status, which boosts everyone's attack. Together, this team is all about Disorder damage, and I'm prioritizing Burn Disorder to hit Pompey where it hurts. Let's talk about Piper first. Since I don't have Jane Doe, who's excellent at dodging, I'm using Piper instead. She's not as nimble, but she gets the job done with some careful timing. The key with Piper is keeping her power buff at 30 stacks at all times. The buff increases her physical anomaly buildup and gives the whole team a damage boost. To keep those stacks up, I'm constantly using her special attack and EX special attack, especially the spinning slashes, which is how she primarily gains these power stacks. I should also note that you don't need energy to garner power stacks. Granted, it'll be slower, but it's a neat way to make sure the power buff does not expire. Not only that, but using her ultimate also lets her gain power stacks. Here's a little trick I use. I save Piper's ultimate for outside the stun window, but only after I use Lucy's ultimate outside of the stun window to activate the 4-piece Swing Jazz Disc Drive set buff that boosts all squad members' damage by 15% for 12 seconds after a chain attack or ultimate, so timing it right keeps her damage high when it counts. Piper's ultimate has a long animation and staggers the boss, so using it when Pompey is in stun gives me a moment to rest my hands while still dealing solid damage. It's a small thing, but it helps keep me focused during the fight. Next up, Lucy's Cheer On buff is a game changer, increasing the attack of the entire team, including her adorable guard boars. Unfortunately, with how I built Lucy this time around, they won't be contributing as much. We'll talk about it more in the gear section. The Cheer On buff is applied using her EX skill, but with the Mindscape 2, it also applies when using chain attack or ultimate. With Lucy's EX skill, let's talk about how I use it during the stun window. My chain attack strategy is designed to maximize the team's buffs and damage. First, I use Lucy's EX skill to kick off the chain attack. When I do this and switch to Piper, I can transfer the 4-piece Astral Voice Disc Drive buff to Piper. This buff increases the damage of the character entering via quick assist, and during a chain attack, the switching mechanics let me apply it to Piper. Then at the end of the chain, when I switch to Bernice, Lucy passes the buff to Bernice too, which leads to Bernice using her ultimate to pass the buff to Piper, refreshing the Astral Voice buff. This way, both Piper and Bernice gets a damage boost from the Astral Voice set, which you can't normally do outside of a chain attack. Here's a quick summary of the sequence of the chain attack. Initiate with Lucy's EX skill to trigger the chain attack, start with the chain attack with Piper, then to Bernice, then to Lucy, quick assist with Bernice, use her ultimate, then quick assist to Piper. Will I be able to get the S rank for this encounter? Who knows? Stick around until the end to find out.
Need a hand? Don't get burned!
Before we dive into the gear section, I want to share the different team compositions my colleagues use for this encounter.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
This time around, Lucy's setup involves her using a 4-piece Swing Jazz because the Astral Voice set is allocated to Piper. It should be noted that Lucy is running a set inclined towards anomaly proficiency instead of her usual crit-based build so that she would not dilute the fire anomaly dealt by Bernice. Aside from her standard loadout, Bernice's setup involves her using an Anomaly Mastery Drive Disc on her 6th slot since I want her to have a higher share in the fire anomaly buildup. In this run, Piper uses an Astral voice set because I don't see any other gear that would suit her, given that with the Freedom Blues, Piper already has a high enough anomaly buildup, especially with the current Deadly Assault season buffs. One boss down, 2 to go. But the season's far from over. Let's shift gears and dive into the next encounter. Here's a quick look at my remaining agents before proceeding to the next boss. The Unknown Corruption Complex is a challenge, but with the right team and strategy, we can take it down with relative ease. Let me walk you through my approach with my team of Rina, Yanagi, and Vivian. First off, let's talk about why I chose this team. My squad consists of Rina as a support, Yanagi as our on-field DPS, and Vivian as our off-field DPS. This team is all about disorder damage, and since the Unknown Corruption Complex is weak to both electric and ether, I don't need to hyperfixate on which type of disorder I need to activate. Both will work great. This flexibility makes the fight much smoother, letting me focus on dealing damage without overthinking the anomaly triggers. One of the key buffs in this season's Deadly Assault is Rapid Aid, which increases energy regeneration. This is crucial for my team, especially for Vivian, since she needs a lot of energy to quickly gain her flight feathers, which then turn into guard feathers. Now, the Unknown Corruption Complex doesn't have many attacks that can be parried, so I can't rely on Vivian's defensive assists to generate those flight feathers easily. That's where the Rapid Aid buff comes in. It helps Vivian get her energy back faster so she can keep those feathers coming in with her EX skill and stay effective throughout the fight. Rina is a fantastic support for this encounter because of her evasive assists, since the Unknown Corruption Complex has plenty of attacks that can be countered with evasive assists. However, there's a catch. Rina's EX skill can't initiate a chain attack when the boss is stunned, so I have to be careful with my timing and make sure I'm using her abilities effectively outside of those stun windows. Here's a neat trick with Rina. Her core skill can be activated easily in any fight. If you find Rina without energy, all you need to do is use her basic attack quickly and then switch out. Since Drusilla and Anastella stay on the field after her basic attack, her core skill passive gets triggered without having to use her EX skill, ultimate, or even chain attacks or evasive assists. This saves a lot of time and energy, letting me focus on dealing damage. But there's one thing that can be tricky with Rina in this fight. During the stun window, there is a chance where when using Rina to do a chain attack or quick swap, the auto-targeting system redirects from its main body to its legs. This can make Rina's movements a bit clunky, as she might not target the right part of the boss. So I have to be extra careful during those moments to make sure the team is attacking the correct target, since this prevents me from dismantling the boss's main body during the stun window. By now, the gimmick of this boss is already common knowledge, but for the uninitiated, breaking one of his legs generates performance points, gives the boss some days build up, and in the context of Deadly Assault, the agent who broke the leg also receives some decibels, and grants a team-wide crit damage buff for each leg broken. This buff, however, isn't permanent. With Vivian, there's always the risk of overcapping her feathers, but if you're quick enough, you can consume any existing guard feathers before they get replaced by new guard feathers. Here's another important strategy I employed. During the first leg of the boss encounter, I tend to only start dismantling legs after the boss recovers from the stun window. By doing this, I can maximize the day's build-up, making it easier to stun the boss again later in the fight. It's all about leveraging their strengths and managing their abilities carefully and taking advantage of the buffs available in Deadly Assault. If you're struggling with this boss, give this team a try and see if it works for you. And always remember to not get discouraged if it takes a couple of tries to get it right.
No, it might try skirting the...
Will I be able to get the S rank for this encounter? Who knows? Stick around until the end to find out.
Resistance
As always, here's what my colleagues used on their level 50 runs.
Headmaid Rina, at your service.
Overall, the team loadout is pretty standard, with the noteworthy aspects being I didn't run a 5th slot penetration ratio on both Vivian and Yanagi despite having Rina on the team. This is because I value taking advantage of elemental weaknesses more than penetration ratio. But if it were a neutral element enemy, then I would certainly switch to a penetration ratio percentage 5th slot. Not only that, but the elemental discs I have in possession have better substat than those that have penetration ratio on them. Another thing to note is that, like what I've alluded to during the showcase, Vivian is running energy regen on her 6th slot in order to keep the feather generation going, since there's only few instances where I could use her defensive assists to generate flight feathers. With 2 encounters down for the count, we move on to delivering the coup de grace to this current season. Here's a quick look at the remaining agents before proceeding to the last encounter.
Alright, I'll
Yes, it's another Miyabi run. But don't click away just yet because I did something with this run to make it more challenging. It's not the typical Miyabi showcase you see in other videos. Can you spot what I did to this run other than the level 50 restrictions? Let me know in the comments what you think it might be. For now, let's talk about the team composition and how bad it really is. Pairing Nicole and Astra together is like bringing two superstars to the same stage. Nicole's defense shred and Astra's buffs are incredible, but using them both in one team means I'm not spreading their power across other deadly assault fights. Normally, you'd want these supports on separate teams to balance out your teams in order to get max stars for any deadly assault season. The only reason why I could get away with this team composition is because this is my last boss for the season, and it's sort of a victory lap for me. If you want to know more about how I approach this encounter, I explained it in detail in the previous episode but with another team. So I highly suggest you watch that run after this video for the explanation, as well as seeing an alternative team setup that does not involve Miyabi for this rather difficult boss. Regarding my experience for this encounter, the first minute of this fight is where I determine if this run is successful or if I should just hit restart. If I can land Miyabi's ult before and during the stun window, I know I'm on track for a solid run. If not, I hit restart because my damage output is a bit tight with this setup. Any guesses why? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's see if you've already figured out the twist with this run. Nicole is a key player here and I've got a little trick to maximize her impact. Her basic attack applies her defense shred faster than her EX skill thanks to those enhanced bullets. So I always start with her basic attack to weaken the boss's defenses, then follow with her EX skill for the defense shred uptime. It's a small tweak but it makes a big difference in chipping away at Sacrifice Bringer's health. The Rapid Aid buff is a lifesaver for this team since with the additional restrictions I've set, my playstyle becomes super energy reliant. Rapid Aid's energy generation ensures I'm always ready to unleash my skills, keeping the pressure on the boss without missing a beat. But if you are more of a rotation kind of guy, I suggest you check out some guides out there. One particular guide I find informative is Zig's Miyabi, Sukaku, and Lycone Bringer Clear, because not only is it cheap, but also he explains his rotations rather well. One of these days I would want to try one of those rotation guides, but unfortunately I still don't have Lycone. Alright, time to spill the beans on that twist. Instead of equipping Miyabi with her S-rank signature W engine, Hailstorm Shrine, I'm using a level 40 B-rank W engine, Magnetic Storm Alpha. Yup, that's right, a B-rank weapon on one of the game's strongest agents. I wanted to challenge myself and see if I could still clear this boss with these additional restrictions in place. To test this, I ran test comparisons with Miyabi without a W engine, Miyabi equipped with Magnetic Storm Alpha, Weeping Gemini, and Hailstorm Shrine. The results were eye-opening to say the least, especially the gap in crit rate and damage multipliers. I'll share the results after this encounter, so stick around. Even with all this planning, the end of this fight was pure luck. There were moments where it could have gone either way, but everything just clicked at the right time. Sometimes in these high-stakes battles, a little bit of luck is what seals the deal. I'm just glad it worked out. So regarding the question I imposed upon you, the viewer, if you're a real Miyabi goon, you would have noticed the missing visual effects that come with the Hailstorm Shrine. Did you catch the twist before I revealed it? What teams are you using to tackle this boss? Drop your strategies, guesses, or questions in the comments below because I love reading various perspectives. With another successful clear, it looks like HP inflation has not caught up to us yet, and this season can still be beaten with level 50 agents. As promised, here are the results of the different runs where Miyabi uses different W engines. I must reiterate my astonishment at how much a signature W engine can influence an agent's damage output, even if those runs weren't planned out. I was basically running it down for both the Weeping Gemini and Hailstorm Shrine. So if you ever think to yourself whether or not you really need to pull for a limited W engine, come back to this video and come up with your own conclusion. And if you're pulling it for the aesthetic, look back to the showcase and think, did you even notice? As always, here's what my colleagues used on their level 50 runs.
Eradicate all evil.
Miyabi's loadout is pretty standard. Other than that, here's the level 40 Magnetic Storm Alpha. It's not that terrible since it does give some attack percentage, but when it comes to signature W engines, we're not just looking at the stats but the additional effects as well, which catapults it way beyond the level of a B-rank W engine, let alone a level 41. Pretty standard gear for Nicole since I didn't have to worry whether or not I should use Anomaly Proficiency or not. It's a testament to just how strong a Void Hunter on the team is. As for Astra, well, she's just using Astra stuff. But it's important to keep in mind that the rank F Astra only needs 3,500 attack, and the rank D Astra needs 4,000 to fully benefit from her buff, which makes building her trickier with the restrictions I've set in place. While these runs aren't formal guides, they can help you refine your gameplay or spark inspiration for your own approach to Zenless Zone Zero's endgame content. I encourage you to check out my previous runs for ideas and strategies. Until then, I'll see you on the next excursion.